Hi everyone. I would like to introduce myself. I'm Gina. I'm the one that coordinates the knitting group and the crochet group. That's on Facebook. I would like to welcome you all. I haven't got a chance to meet any of you. A few of you I have chatted with on my grandmother drum circle page. But the new ones that have come on board, and even all my older members that have been there for a while, nice to meet you all. I hope to one day, from today on, I hope to be able to chat with different members of the group over time. But if any time that you have any issues with other members, issues with anything at all to do with knitting or crocheting, please don't hesitate to inbox me. I will put a link to one of my other pages, is where I'm going to be putting a bunch of my tutorials of anything that I can do in regards of helping you with things to do with knitting and crocheting. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything, but this is what I've learnt over the years of when I've done stuff. But if anything that, is new, that you can give me suggestions on or feedback on, please do, because I love to learn new things. So I'm happy to be here to help you guys, and just as much as you can help me as well. So guys, I'm just going to be doing a little tutorial on the sort of what you've been seeing being put on the walls, these little charts, and with the little graph on the bottom. Now, there is a lot of us that do know how to read these, and there are some that don't, and or some people just don't feel confident in reading these charts, and so therefore they don't use them. That's fine, but these are for anyone out there who's willing to give it a go, or who is scared. Hopefully, I might be able to take some of those fear factors away. Even for any of the ones that do know how to do it, if I've said anything incorrectly, do please put it in the comments box below the video, because, hey, as I said, I'm not perfect, but any additional information to help these guys, I appreciate it. There's two forms of charts. There's these ones here, which are what we call, when you're doing a scarf or you're doing a garment, that this is sort of a chart setup. But then you also have the other ones, which are like for the granny squares and things like that. So these types, two I know of, but I've picked out a couple that I will try. The only thing with this one, I'm not sure about how many starting chains to start with, but I'm just going to base it on the ones that are here, and then if you want to make it into a larger garment or blanket, you're more than welcome to extend it. And so I'll let you know, roughly how many chains and that are there, so you know what what to start with, and then whatever you want to add on, you can add on. This square one I'll do the same as well. With those, I've also, which is very important to do so, is to download yourself, or if you've got a book that's got it in it, especially you beginners or learners, that these charts, these are called the symbol charts, as you do know, that tells you about what symbols for chain, what symbols for double crochet, what symbols for single crochet, and so on, or bubbles or fans or whatever it is that your stitch you're going to do. So it's important to download one of these as well, because what you will find that they will come very in handy when you need to translate your chart. Now, as you know, people know that the circles on the chart, as you can see, the circles, they are chains. The little crosses are single crochets. Normally these sort of longer ones like these are usually standardly double crochets, but there will be a variation symbol depending whether if it's a half double crochet or whether if it's a treble. So it will determine on the chart, and that you just correspond that to your symbol chart, and then that will help you to determine which symbol you need to use. But then at the end of the day, it's really up to you which one you want to use, because there's no wrong or right way. You can do that as a half double crochet, you can do that as a double crochet, or you can even do it as a treble. It only alters and changes the shape of your square. That's all it does. You'll know if it's any good, especially if you're experimenting. You know if it's any good, because if it disorders your square. if it just distorts your square in any way, makes it go out of shape, then obviously that treble or whatever you used is not good enough for that square. So that means it must be a double crochet. You possibly could get away with a half double crochet. It would only make the square smaller. But, you know, it's just a matter about experimenting. But you need a starting point, and that's why I did the video, to show you how to go about it. So I'm going to do the best I can to show you, and hopefully that helps. If you want any more information or feedback on the video about anything else that maybe I've missed out or you're not sure of, do message me. Please don't hesitate. All right, so I've got now here just a 5mm hook. Here I'm going to use with some scrap yarn. I've just pulled out some scrap yarn out of my box, which I've got left because I've got rid of a lot. So yeah, so I'm going to start off with the yellow anyway. So now I always do my squares, my granny squares. Now I do them with the magic ring, because the reason why I like that, I like the nice tidy finish on the center bit. You know, I don't like to have a great big hole in the middle. I like to have something like that in the middle, very small hole. So I always use the magic ring. So, you know, you loop it around your fingers, okay? If you're not sure, you loop it around your fingers, cross it. You go under with your hook, under there, and grab your yarn, okay? And you'll notice you've got a little ring there. Now hold that ring open so that way you don't lose it. I'm going to drop my yarn on the floor. It might get a bit dirty, but that's okay. So yeah, we're just going to get myself positioned here. So the chart's telling me, if I hold it up the right way, the chart's telling me right here on the little, if I can hold it up correctly, right here it's telling me, this is where my starting point is. So it's telling me I've got to do a bunch of chains. Okay, so it looks like I've got to do 1, 2, 3, 4 chains. So that's what I'm going to start off with. Because that does my little center bit there. Okay, so I'm going to be doing 3 double crochets after that into the ring. Okay, so that means I'll just double check it by looking at it to make sure I'm on the right track. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 chains. So that's what you do. You do 4 chains. Okay, get myself started. 1, 2, 3, 4 chains. Okay. Oh, I think my little ring thing's got, as you can see, my little ring thing's gone kabuku. So I'm going to just do another one there, guys. Okay. And there you go. It does happen even to the best of us. All right. So we're not all perfect when it comes to doing stuff. We are going to all make mistakes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 chains. And then it's asking me to do 3 double crochets. As you can see there on the chart, it's asking me to do 3 double crochets. And then it's asking me to do 3 chains there. And then another 3 double crochets. So that's what I'm going to do now, right? So that's putting it into the hole, going 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets, and then it's asking me, what is it? 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. Then it's asking me to do another 3 double crochets, as you can see on the chart. I've got to do another 3 and another 3 chains and another 3 double crochets. So I'm going to do that. Okay, now I've done that. I've done another 3 double crochets and 1, 2, 3 chains. And I've got to do another 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, that's where I started. That's my 4 chains and 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 double crochets, 3 chains, and I've done another 3 double crochets. So yeah. So that means I've got 1, 2, 3 lots, and I've got to do 4 lots of 3 double crochets. So I've done 3. So that means I've got to do another 3 chain, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what that's telling me now is because I've got that 4 chains, yeah, I've got that one, well, most of it was 5 chains maybe, because that's cross one down the bottom, possibly. So that's 3, yeah, it might be 5 chains. Maybe, so I've finished there one, finish on that top one, so that's second one. Oh, I can just get away with it, but I think it's meant to be 5 chains with that little cross. There's a little cross one down the bottom there. As you can see, there's a little cross one there. So that may possibly count it as a chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I've done 4. But if you do that, you can get away with it. But it's, so that means I've got to do 2 double crochets for the last lot. Because even though there's 3 double crochets, but so I'm going to just pull my little my little string. That's it, so I can tighten in my square a bit more, because those chains there are going to add as a double crochet. So that means that's why you only put 2 normal double crochets, but then the chains on the where you started with, the chains, part of that is going to be a double crochet. So in the top of that, we've got 1, I'll show you it, you got 1, 2, 3 there. So just in the top there, do a slip stitch. So you just do a slip stitch, and then that pulls it in. So that means you got your little chain space there, and you got one over here as well. It's buried over there. So I reckon that's meant to be 5 chains. So it makes your hole a little bit bigger. Yep. Okay, so then it's saying, because you finished on the top there, it's saying next you've got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chains, and then a single crochet in that little chain space. That's trippy. Okay. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that means here you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you go into that first one of the 4 chain spaces. You go into that, pull it up, and do a little single crochet. Okay, because that's what the cross is. The cross is a single crochet. Then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you go into that little chain, that next chain space. Do another single crochet. It possibly even could be 2. If it's not a single crochet, it possibly could even be a slip stitch, because it can vary. So that means we need to go back and look on the chart. So what does the chart tell us? The chart's telling me if it's a plus sign or a cross, it's a single crochet. So I did it right. But in some patterns, it can be represented as a slip stitch as well. So, oh no, from what this chart is telling me, this chart's telling me that a slip stitch is a dot. Okay, but it may be that in all patterns, but you may find it vary in some. So just always refer back to your symbol chart. But it's telling me, and I'm probably telling you wrong, it is a slip stitch for a dot, and it is a single crochet for a plus sign or a cross. So, and I don't want to lead you astray. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So another 8 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'll show you where I'm up to now. So now I've just done this part here, okay, where I've because I'm in reverse here on the chart. So I've done that one there, done that into there. Now I've done that into there. Now I've got to do in the 8, and the 8's got to go back in the same loop. I've got to single crochet it back into there. So that means I've put that lot into that chain space. I've also got to put this next 8 into that chain space, as the chart tells me. And then I've got to do another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains, and then single crochet into the next chain 3 space. All right, so that means I've got to go back into there, single crochet. Then it's telling me I've got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go into the next chain space there and do a single crochet. Then it's telling me to do another 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and back into that chain, same chain space again to do another 8. So as you can see, if I take the hook out, you can see it's coming along nicely. There's that first chain 8 lot, there's a second chain 8 slot, and there's the third chain 8. So following it on the chart, this is where we are now. As you can see, it representing, unfortunately the chart is probably in reverse on your screen, but as you can see, there's that lot, that chain 5, that lot, that chain 5, and that one. So now we're down to here. I've got to do another chain 5 to go in the across that section there, and then I'll do another 8 to go in there, and then we go back to where we started, which is here. So right, so I'm going to do that now. It's 5, isn't it? 5 to go across there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I've got to go back into that same hole and single crochet there again. So going across from there now to there, I've got to do 5. But then I've got to check where do I need to hook up. So it's saying to me I've got to do 5. And then I've got to just, hook into, I've got to hook into where I started down there. So I've got to do that 8 and then hook into there, down the bottom. Because that's where, so from obviously where I started, back into the same spot. I gather. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I think it goes into the bottom of here, or from what I understand, down here. I'm hoping I'm doing it right. I think that's how I'm reading it. But I have known to sometimes muck up myself, but, you know, but it's taken me full circle there now. So I've got my 4 little things. See, 4 little things. And then I can also pull my little ring in to make that tighter. There we go. Now she's starting to look a bit more like a centre square. There's your 4 lots of 3 double crochets in the middle, and my little loops on the end, 4 corners. Okay, so looks a bit wonky at the moment, yep, because it needs to have other stitches to set it in place. So from what I'm understanding here, let's have a look on the next one. Okay, it's telling me to do, because I'm now telling me to do a couple of chains to go up the side of the loop, and then do 1, 2, 3 double crochets, 3 chains. So it's telling me to do a couple of chains. It's obviously how this pattern is done. 1, 2, and then it's asking me to do 1, 2. Whoops, a little split in the yarn there. 2. I'll show you in a minute what I've done and where it coincides with the chart. Then I've got to do 1, 2, 3, and do another 3 in there. 1, 2, 3. Oh, whoops, I'm losing it. All right. Now, from what the chart's telling me, from the way I read it, is on this chart here, it's telling me down the side here, because this is where I joined up, it's telling me I've got to do a couple of chains and then to, because it's like, yeah, a couple of chains, because then I've got to, because this is in reverse, by the way, you're seeing it back to front, but basically that's my first lot of 3 double crochets. So yeah, it's like in reverse to you on the screen. So I had to do those 2 chains, and then do my 3 double crochets, 3 chains, and then do 3 double crochets in that 7, is it 7, 2, 4, 6, 8, no, 8 chain loop. I've got to do 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 double, or was it 4 double crochets? Oh yeah, because that chain 2 might represent that chain, let's have a look. Oh yeah. Oh no, it's not chains. Yeah. So it's 1. It's really, it's confusing the way they've done it. It's like there. So I'm just trying to think whether those chain 3 are from the last part of it. I reckon it might be the last part of going around, because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that goes ends there. Let's have a look on this here. I reckon, yeah, hang on, let's have a look. Maybe I've just got to go straight into the loop. Let's try that. Sometimes it looks a bit deceiving on the chart, so if it one way doesn't really look right to you, you just change it. Like if you think it's like, well, that doesn't look right, I mean, it might be that I have to just go straight into that and do a slip stitch. No, so that's not working, so that means I'll need to go into there. I'll just go back into there, do my normal crochet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do normal double crochet. So that's 1, 2, so I've been, it's looks like the 3, because if I count it, there's 3, so it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I reckon 3 chains of, so that's not, yeah, because I think there's 6 for the last part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's there, 3. Yeah, so I think the last 3 chains on the 6 of the last section represents a double crochet to make it 4 double crochets for this row. So that's probably why I was getting confused being 3 chains down there, because the way they've done the diagram is that the 3 chains are right next to the last row I just finished. So making you think that you may have had to do 3 chains. So that's why you got to check it just to make sure. But what it is, those 3 are part of this next row. Instead of doing your normal, like the normal 3 chains it says on here, you do 6. So that means that last 3 makes up the double crochet that needs to go with this lot. So because I'm only supposed to do 3 here, so it's only supposed to do 3 here, which that's where I'm trying to understand where the other one fits, because you go around and do it all and finish here. It's or the other way I'm reading it now, it might be, is that it might make sense, is that I'm doing I've done the slip stitch into there, do 3, right, slip stitch back into that single crochet, back into that, so you do your 3, right, single crochet back into that big hole, do another 3, So that represents as that chain 3 double crochet that it says on the chart, right? And then do 3 double crochets. I think that's how it works. I'm trying to work out what they've done and trying to understand it. So I think that's what they've done here, is that on this chart here, okay, they've done 3 chains. There's another cross, so that means it's another single crochet. And then they've done some more, they've done 1 or 2 more chains or whatever there, and then they've done the 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 4 double crochets in the next lot, and then 3 chains, a single crochet, 3 chains. So I'm just trying to work out how they started. So that 3 chain then makes it to be the 4, and then it's got 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and then you do your normal 4, then it says chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet in there, 1, 2, 3, and then you do your 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. I'm just trying to make sure I teach you as best as I can correctly. 1, 2, 3. Because I said sometimes I'll put those little things on the charts and they will be a little bit confusing. But as it is like I showed you, just work through it. Try different ways. Eventually one will be correct. Oops, that's a single crochet in there. One will be eventually, oh, hang on a minute, I was supposed to put 4 double crochets in there. So always go back and check your double crochets, making sure you put the right amount in there, because not like me, you get carried away and then you forget one. Okay, single crochet, 1, 2, 3 in there. And there you go, 1. This square will start to take shape and sit better now once we get the double crochets in, because that'll give it some form to it. 1, 2, 3, and then I'll just show you what I did when I compare it to the chart. You'll be able to see what I did, and that way you can see how I followed the chart. 1, is that 4? No, that's not 4, because I'm so used to doing 3 double crochets that this has got 4, so that kind of blows me out of whack a bit. 1, 2, 3, single crochet in there, 1, 2, 3, and 4 double crochets there. I'm sort of getting it back near towards the end, so that way you can then see the form of it and be able to relate that and compare that to the chart as well. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 4 there, right, so then I've got to do 1, 2, 3, and a single crochet in there, and then that would be there. That's what that means. So that means I've got the 1, 2, 3, yep, and right, 1, 2, 3, and then connect it up the top here. Is that right? Yeah, connect it up to the top here. I think that's right. Well, it's looking to take shape. So yeah, so what I did in the chart here was that yes, you can see I did my chains there, single crochet, and did the chain there, which made the double crochet, right? So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 chain, 4 3 chain, single crochet, 3 chain, 4 double crochets, 3 chains, 4 double crochets into that big 8 chain space, and then 3 chains, a single crochet into that 5 chain space that's in between the 2 big ones, and then 3 chains, 4 double crochets, 3 chains, 4 double crochets into the big 8 chain space, and then you'll see I've got 1 2 3, and then a single crochet in the 5 chain space, and I worked all my way around till I got back here. Okay, so that's pretty much what I did with the chart here. That's where I did my 3 chains there, and then I did this there, and then up there I did the single crochet, then I did my, which is my 3 chains for my 1 double crochet, then it's got 1 2 3 4, chain 3 4, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, 4 double crochets, 3 chains, 4 double crochets, 3 chains and a single crochet, and then went right around. As you can see, that's what it's starting to look like now. So there's it there. Okay, so for some known reason, I don't know why, but that's how it looks on the chart too. You tend to have this little bit in here, okay, which is like a little chain section, which that's what I've got in there. So it's obviously meant to be part of the pattern because that's what the pattern says. You look at it and think, hang on a minute, that doesn't look right. No, it doesn't. It's like, but there you go. It goes to show you that's how the chain says it. If I look on the chart picture, it's like there's that lot there, there. I was trying to see if there's any. That's it there, that's it there, that's it there, that's it there. So it doesn't even show any of that. It's got that, but it doesn't even show any of that on there. Like, it doesn't show that there. So to me, that tells me that it must be wrong, because on the picture it's not showing it, but on the chart it is. So that means it's, to me, then it means, to me, it bothers me. So as a person that's done crocheting for a while, that bothers me, because I'm not happy with that. It's like it's not on. It's, in my world, it's not on. Okay, so that means I've got to go back and reassess the situation. So it's telling me then I've got that tells me that part's correct, because I'm slip stitching. I'm going to slip stitch into there. Okay. Now, what I've known to do as well in the past is that you can do, as I've done in the past, if you look at that chart and you got the same results and you think, hang on a minute, that doesn't look right. That chart doesn't match the picture. It doesn't look the same, because you don't see any extra loop in the picture as what's in the chart there where that shows that. So that means, so what you can do, which is I have done in the past too, is that I've actually slip stitched. So where that chain, where that last one that you finished on, what I've done is I've gone in the past is where I've gone past and I've slip stitched my hook, my stitch up the ring. You can do that. Just go where that loop is, put your hook in there, and then just slip stitch. Yep, slip stitch it to the, I'd probably say about there, because by the time you start your 4 double crochets, well, you can probably even do one will be enough. Yep. And so that's probably, I'll just do the one, trying a couple of different ways, and I'll just chain 1 2 3, and then I'll do my, so this is the way I'm going to do it, to me, to make me feel better with it, and to know that I'm going to get a neater finish. Okay, and then you'll see the difference as well. So this is how about, like, sort of with crocheting, and that is what you think is best to resolve it, to get the best effect. Because, you know, everyone's going to do their crocheting and tips and everything techniques in their own way. So everyone's going to be different. But as long as you come up with the same result, same product, then you've done it. That's the way, you know, because you will get patterns like that that won't be quite clear, and they will have like an additional kind of set of chains, and you'll look at it and go, okay, but then when you do it on your actual yarn and your hook, you'll realise, oh, hang on, that's an extra light strand there that doesn't need to be there. It's not part of the pattern. And then you're not going to get the same effect, or full effect is what the picture's showing you, is that you should end up with this beautiful granny square that's got perfect 4 sides, perfect run of chains, and perfect run of double crochets, even on 4 sides, and it's not happening because there's this one extra little run that's not supposed to be there. And of course what happens is it blows your work out of whack, blows your square out of whack as well, and then you don't get a proper granny square. So 1, 2, 3. So now I'm going to do it different. I'm doing it a different way just to show you it's going to turn out better. So that way, this is another way you can do it. And if it wasn't quite clear shown to you in the video, you couldn't see it properly, I'm quite happy to do another little video for you to show you. That's not a problem. But if anyone else has got any other easier way to rectify that problem and do it in an easier way, I keep doing it again, the 3 double crochets. I keep doing it because as we do in all our little holes, we do 3 double crochets, and that's our normal, the basic method when you do blankets, and that is 3 double crochets. And I'm now not used to doing 4 in a hole, so now it's just making a habit of it now. Okay, but I'm going back and refixing it and rectifying myself. So it's, yep. And I've probably been concentrating a lot. If I was doing it on my own differently, I'd probably be more concentrating. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And then doing the 4 double crochet. I'm going to go back to where I was, and just to show you that you're going to get a completely different effect, and the square's going to come out better, and there's going to be no longer that little 3 chain run sticking in there. So we've hopefully got rid of it. So that's 3. That's 4 double crochets in there. 1, 2, 3. So now we're back to where we were. So that goes in there, and then I go 1, 2, 3, and then right on the top, 1, 2, 3 of those 3 chains that I did, I'm going to slip stitch. Okay, now I'm just going to release myself now. All right, so now as you can have a look, when you look at it, this is where I finished. So if you take a look, I've actually got even runs of lines. As you can see, I've got that, those 2 there. I've got that and those 2 at the top there. That one and those 2 at the top there. That one and those 2 at the top there. And as you can see, there's no extra strand. So you can see I've got, you know, my big one there, and then I've got 1, 2, 3 in the middle, and then one big one there, 1, 2, 3, and a big one, 1, 2, 3, and a big one, and down the bottom the same. So if you can see, there's no extra strand there anymore. I've got rid of it. So that's how you can rectify even a chart. Okay, to still get the same method that they've asked you to do, but neaten it up and got a better result. And it's just basically, as I said, slipping your hook across the top of your stitch. So that means you just go through that little hole at the top of your chain there and slip stitch. Go in the next chain, slip stitch, until you get the hook, the double crochet, or where you got your starting point, where you want it. So that means you can do your 4 double crochets in there and then have a neat finish, just almost like you do on a granny square. So you get it at the right point, so you can slip stitch in on the top last stitch and finish off your square. It's the same sort of technique. Same thing, you do that. So now we've done that row. So that's where 1, 2, 3, we've done middle bit, the chain 8 and chain 5 section. Now we've done the 4 double crochet section. Now we're on the second to last row, which it's asking us to do from there, is asking us to do two. Yeah, that's right, because I've slip stitched into there. Yep, okay. It's asking me to... Okay, it's asking me to do like up from here, chains up from here, and then do 2 double crochets, and then it's asking me to do 2 double crochets and 3 chains and 2 double crochets. And I'm just checking to see if the double crochets, they possibly could be trebles, because they've got a longer, there's a longer line on them than your double crochets. And let's have a look. Trebles. So the trebles have got 2 little lines across the middle. So no, it's a double crochet. All right, so just be aware of that. So we're checking on your chart, as I did, because I checked on my chart and it's telling me that the trebles have a 2 little lines across the middle of them. So that when it definitely has 1, it's definitely a double crochet. They might have just largened it in the chart just to show you the effect of it, but it's actually a double crochet. Right, so now because I'm there, I've got to now do, I'm on that one, so it's telling me to do, it's actually giving me a funny looking thing there for a double crochet, but possibly what you can do too, what some people do is you can do a double crochet in the same hole. You might have single crochet or slip stitched into there, but you can do a double crochet. So just check on this picture, see if it shows me anything. Now they all seem to be, well, that might be it there. That might be where it started, maybe. It's sort of showing me something on this picture here. Sort of something, looks like there's something in there that's been done in there. So looks, because that's where they're finished. So that might be there where they've done it, because it looks different to the others. Yeah, look, this one seems to have a little bit of yarn crossing over there. But I've done a double crochet in there anyway, so that's how I'm doing it. Because it's not showing me clear, it's just showing me a little if you take a look, I'll show you. It's showing me a little kind of, I don't know whether you'd call that a half of a double crochet or a large circle, to be represent a chain. But even for a chain, one chain, that's still, you know, I possibly could, but it's not going to finish off as, that might be representing a chain, but they're wanting 3 double crochets there. So I've done it's going to have somewhere for me to go and loop into anyway. So there's a double crochet. I've done it as a normal double crochet on my piece. So it's asking me to do another one. So that means I've got to have 3. I've got to do 2 more. So that's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. And then I've got to do 2 into the chain 3 space, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, and then another 2, 1, 2, right, and then I've got to do 1, 2, 3 there, 1, 3 chains, and single crochet into there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the next chain, next space, 1, 2, 3, and then doing, what's that, 1, yeah, and 3 double crochets, 1, oops, 2. So I'm just going to show you what I did so you can see. Alright, so in this corner here, what I've done was that where I did a single crochet, I did that actually as a double crochet. So when I go around and finish, I'll slip stitch in there. I don't know if I can find it now. Or maybe if I split it apart with my fingers. There's my, yep. I'll be able to either in there, I'll be able to slip stitch in there, or I can slip stitch in the top to finish off. which is probably more closer to the top, so that way you get that neat finish. But like I've done that as a double crochet, so 1, 2, 3. Then it says to do 2 in the big space, chain 3, 2. So I'm going to show you on the chart where that is. So when I find it, right, there we are there. Okay, I've done that as a double crochet. Then it says do 3 double, that means it makes it 3 double crochets on top of those double crochets there. Then it's saying to do 2 double crochets into there. Yep. Which it's in that, so into there. Then I've done 3 and then into there. So it could either be into that chain space or into the top of that stitch. It's basically, you know, it's showing me to do it into that actual space. That's how I did it, into that space there. So, and then it's saying to me to do 3 more on top of those 4 double crochets, do 3, and then it says to do chain 3, single crochet into that chain space there, 1, 2, 3, 4, do another chain 5, and then single crochet into that chain 3 space there, and do another 3 chains, and then do your 3 double crochets on top of your 4 double crochets, and then do your 2 double crochets, chain 3s, 2 double crochets into that chain 3 space, and you just do that all the way around. So that means you've got loops on top of loops. So you've got that chain 3 going into that space. You got 5 chains, and that's going over into the next chain space, and then you've got 3 chains, and then you're doing 3 double crochets on top of those 4 double crochets, and you just work that all the way around until you come back to where you started. So that's what I'm going to do now, and as you can see, that's what I did. Done that, done my 3 double crochets on top of my 4, did my 2 and my chain 3, my 2, then I did my 3 on top of my 4, my chain 3, single crochet into that first space, did 1, 2, 3, 4, is that 5 chains, then do a single crochet into that space, chain 3, and did my 3 double crochets on top of my 4 double crochets. So that's what I'm going to do now, and finish it all off and go right around. So that's 1, 2, 3. So that's 1, 2, yeah, and then we've got to do 2 in there. Whoops, got a bit sloppy there. Okay, 2 there, and then I'm going to go into there. 1, 2, 3. Oops, and that's 1, 2, 3. Single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet. 1, 2. Oh no, no chains there. Single crochet there. Okay. Oh yeah, there is. There's 3. 1, 2, 3. Sorry about that. There was. Then it's like 3 double crochets. Now I'm going into another corner soon. 1, 2, 3. And that's 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet into that very first space there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into that second one, chain space, single crochet into there. 1, 2, 3, and then do my 3 double crochets up the top, on top of my 4 double crochets. and then go my 2 into the big one at the top, do 2 double crochets, do 1, 2, 3 chain, and do 1, 2 in there, whee, and then do my double crochets in there, 1, 2, 3. Right, so that means I've got to do them 1, 2, 3, and I'm getting towards the end now. See there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into there. Yeah, into there. 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet up the top here. Finish off a slip stitch. Might be, no, I might have got the top of that one there. That's where I've got slip stitch there. Alright, so, yep. Beautiful. Now she's looking good now. Okay. So as you can see now, she's looking fine there now. She's got the, little spaces up there. There's 3 spaces up the top. There's that in the corner, 3 spaces there. There's that at the top, 3 spaces there, and that's that corner, and so on. So there's the 4 corners. As you can see on the chart here, that's there, the corner, 3, there the corner, 3, corner, 3 holes, corner, 3 holes. Right, and the last one actually just says you just do single crochets all the way around. So that's what it's telling you to do. So basically you just go, start at the top here. I go do a single crochet in that one I've just finished on, slipped into. And you just do, and I think this probably shapes the square up a little bit for you. So when it comes to the corners, you do 3 single crochets in the corner. So you do 1, 2, and 3. And then you go up the top of the next stitch, and you do 1, 2, 3 there, and you just keep going around on top of all the stitches where you've done one in this, in the chain 3 spaces. It's basically saying approximately 3 single crochets. Yeah, do 3 single crochets in there, I think it says, or what you feel that. I'm actually feeling that there's and then the single crochet there, you do 1. I'm feeling that my square only needs 2 because I'm using obviously a thicker yarn, but this pattern says 3. But it's basically what I think it says. They do that for us to, you know, so you get your sides a bit straighter, so your work's not so floppy. So or you know, the square's not so floppy. So and that it just straightens your square up a little bit, gives you. All right, so if I do some, I'll give you an idea the difference in the. So it's 1, 2, 3. So if I do that, it's sort of showing you, see how this sort of ends sort of like that. So that sort of ends like that. Bit on the sloppy side there. This sort of show, if you show it, it's sort of straightened it up a bit, as you can see. But I'm even feeling I could even do less than that to straighten up my square. So I feel I could even probably do 1 in the holes instead, like instead of 3 or what it's the pattern saying. I could probably get away with doing 1 in those spaces to pull my square in a bit tighter. So you can do that if you like. You know, you go by what you think. You know, you got to get the best result at the end of the day. You know, like to get it. I'll show you an example. I'll just do 1 of these, and you'll see what it mean if you just do 1. It pulls your square in a bit firmer, and it makes it not so floppy. Yeah, so if you take a note, then see, compared to that side, it's more, it's more straighter. See how that's more straight and that goes up a bit? Yeah, because I've used a lot less single crochets. So that means on this side I could use less as well. So I can, that corner looks really nice. See how it looks really nice and curved there? And it's giving you a nice sort of like a point. It's good. So, and then I could put one on all these little double crochets. I can put one, and then when I get here to the hole, I just do one. When I get on top of the single crochet, just do one. On that space, I'll probably just do one. That single crochet, do one. And then that space, I do one. And so see how it's, it's making it look nicer and straight now on the side. It's giving you a straight edge for your square. That's probably the way to go. But you can do whatever you like. You can put a border on your square. You can get a border from another pattern and put that on your square. It's, it's up to you, what you want to do with it. But that's sort of like straightening up my square a little bit now. See, it's making my square a little bit more straighter. But yeah, yeah, compared to these sides, it's giving it a little bit of a straight edge. So, and then I'll do 3 on that side, and that will give me a nice corner again. But you just use your discretion what you think for that last row, because it depends also what yarn you're using. Determines on what nicer effect you're going to get as well. Because you may be using a finer yarn, you might have to put 3 single crochets in there, but because I'm using a thicker yarn, I can get away with using 1. Because, when you're using a finer yarn, the finer yarn is not going to use up as much space, so you might need to put 3 in each or 2 in each. But because I'm using a thicker yarn, I can get away with using 1 single crochet in those chain spaces. You definitely put 1 on each of the double crochets, and it specifies 3 in the corners. Yes, because that gives you a nice rounded corner. So, and then I'm going to, let's see, and I'll do another single crochet in each of these double crochets. You do 1 in those. That's like I've done there. But when I've come back to the chain space again, I can get away with using 1. But if you're using a finer yarn and one single crochet into that single crochet, 1 into that chain space, 1 into that single, into there, and 1 into there in that chain space. So, you know what I mean? It pulls your square in a little bit. But maybe even in that chain 5 one, you could probably put 2, But I'm just, finishing off the square to show you how to read the charts. I'm just doing it with 1 at the moment, so you can get a feel for it and what I'm doing and that. So just to show that it can be entirely up to yourself as well. You're the crocheter, and at the end of the day, you got to be happy with what your results are. And it's everyone does their own. It's like there's no wrong or right way, literally. I mean, it's what result you want to get and what stitch you want to use, and how many you want to use. It's entirely... but if you're going to follow the chart, follow it the best you can. If you need to do a couple of alterations or changes because the square doesn't look tidy or the square looks out of shape, it doesn't fit with what you're making. But yeah, it's sort of giving me a little bit more straighter edge. I could, even that chain for space 5, I could probably get away with doing 2 in there, but it's bringing my square together now. But I'm going to finish it off so that way you can get, see that there will be a square. It's obviously been a bit of a floppy square. Maybe it's because I'm using a thicker yarn. I don't know. But anyway, it's all good. And the other thing with crocheting and knitting and that is that it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be fun. And once you take the fun out of it, it's not fun. It's, it's good. You create and you make things and you do all these wonderful garments, and it's about, it's not a competition. I find there's a lot of people out there, you know, competing, going, oh, you know, I've done this, I've done that. But it's not a competition. It's you know, I share with what I do because I'm, you know, oh, I'm going too far. I've gone over the top of the others. Getting carried away talking to you guys. We've got to finish there with a single crochet and slip stitch into there. And then, yeah, okay. Slip stitch into there. So I'm going to take that out. So as you can see, the square's starting to look a bit more healthier now, isn't it? It's actually starting to look like a square. For a minute there, I was a bit worried there for a minute. I thought, oh my God, what's happening here? But yeah, it's looking like a square now. Look at that. Okay, and it matches my pattern. You know, like, it's matching my pattern. So I'll hold it up so you can have a look. And it's matching my pattern. So, yeah. You may have to do some little changes from a chart, but it's pretty basic. It's following, you know, the symbols, and always making sure that with that you always have your little charts to go with it as well, and they can help you to interpret what's on the chart. If you're not sure, put it on the wall, guys, and me and many other advanced crocheters or anyone out there that knows what they are will be happy to help you. But please don't be scared to give it a go, because these charts are fun. They are fun, and they save a lot of writing down, especially when you've got to write chain 3, 4 double crochets. You know, they do save you doing a lot of writing. And it took me a little bit to get used to them myself. A couple of times when I used to see them too, I used to get a bit daunted. But I just thought, you know what, give it a go, Gina, and yeah, and to actually put one on video like that, that's the first time I've ever done one on video to show you guys. So I'm glad that you've been patient with me and all that. And, you know, and I may have done something incorrect or said something incorrect. But if I have, please do put it in the comments box below, because it not only helps me, but it also helps all the other beginners out there. So thanks, guys. Nice to meet you. And I look forward to doing another tutorial with you. If there's anything that you would like me to do a little video on, obviously not as long as this one, because I've had to go right through the whole chart. But if there's anything specifically you'd like me to do a little video on that you want some help with, please message me in my inbox and I'll be happy to do one for you. Okay, so again, nice to meet all my members from my groups. Nice to meet you all, and keep safe and take care. Till next time. Bye.